For this project, I'll be discussing the scope and project management of my honors thesis and how I could reimagine it with the information I've gained in this class to do it better and create a better product. For this project, I took on creating a platform to share and discover music. This included everything from user research through high-fidelity prototypes. And while the project did have a director and second writer, it was primarily self-guided and self-paced. My initial planning came from the first proposal, which was one of 3 meetings I had with the stakeholder. In hindsight, this was not nearly enough to keep them in the loop and keep myself accountable. However, it did create a nice process for me to establish the initial goals of the project. The methodology I used for this was more like a waterfall approach. I had phases that I established as seen in this image on the right, and I really wouldn't move from one phase to the next until the previous one was done. This kind of became a problem when I reached bottlenecks at certain steps. I will discuss that in the challenges slide coming up. As previously discussed, this process did face some challenges along the way, the first being bottlenecks in gaining participants for research efforts in the beginning, which kind of set the whole project on an offset pace, and the latter being general procrastination based around stress with tasks being too large and not consolidated enough. In the end, I did accomplish the final product. I made a prototype of the app. I did, however, have to cut some corners. Instead of having a functional prototype with animations and interactivity, it ended up being just a static prototype that you could scroll through and look at. And this was really a result of those challenges discussed previously. Looking back, my lack of organization, lack of file structure caused a lot of stress and really made me reflect on how I conduct these sorts of projects. I decided that it was important for me to break up tasks into smaller pieces so that they were less daunting, and make sure to stay in touch with stakeholders to keep me accountable. In the following slides, I will explain how I reimagined this process to streamline it and produce a better product in a more enjoyable process. Firstly, I would implement an agile methodology, allowing me to set smaller goals on a 2-week sprint basis and adjust my final outcome product based on findings in research, as many other tech products evolve as well. I would also use a project management software like Trello or Jira to track my resources as well as my progress, showing me visually how far I've come and allowing me to advise estimations of time better in the future. To implement these changes, I would also schedule meetings with my stakeholders to hold me accountable and teach myself these project management softwares, as well as create a comprehensive backlog of all of the different task items I have to work on. This would effectively reduce stress and prevent corner cutting. I believe if I'd used a process like this in my thesis, I would have that full interactivity and I wouldn't have had the taxing month of no sleep and all work that I had to deal with. Thank you for watching.